All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Hi, Amy. Thank you for joining as usual. Um, my name's Rachel. This is Amy Ruggieri, and we'll introduce ourselves a little bit more at the end. But we're going to talk a little bit today about something everyone loves, putting together a budget, and sort of the mindset around that and how to put together one and what might make sense for you in order to complete it and actually keep up with it. So we're going to get started on that. Amy, you want to say hi?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Rachel. Always
Yeah.
fun talking. I'm Amy Ruggieri. I operate the Ruggieri Group with my husband, Bob. We've been in the financial field for him 15 years, me 13 years, fully licensed. What we're talking about today, we love because it's really one of the key things to a good financial plan and feeling good about money, which is what we all want, right? Is we all want to feel good and confident and in control and on the right track. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about budgeting with you, Rachel.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah,
favorite topic, right?
yeah. Well, and it's like it's such a shame to me that people are like so standoffish and nervous and anxious around putting together a budget because it's I mean, I get like, if you've not really sat down and looked to see what you're spending on things and how much your debt is, like it can be challenging, but it's just challenging for that moment. And then it starts to get easier. Once you have that stuff written down, you can see it, you're getting a full view of what your financial picture is. That's when you can start saying, these are maybe some changes I want to make. These are the goals I want to make. One thing I see sometimes clients do before, like when they first come to me, is they already have all of these thoughts of what their goals are, but they've not actually put anything down on paper. And those goals can change drastically when you actually get a good idea of what you have. Like they're like, okay, I'm going to stop eating out. I'm just going to stop doing it. I'm not going to do it anymore. Well, perhaps that's actually not what makes the most sense for you to do, but how would you know that until you really dug in? So Amy wants to talk a little bit about mindset, and trust me, I love mindset, but I'm going to focus a little bit on just sort of how to put together that budget. And then Amy will talk a little bit more about sort of that mindset that goes into it. So first of all, I think if you are somebody that maybe doesn't have a great money mindset and you're just struggling with it, you probably should reach out for help. And that help could be somebody like myself, a financial coach, or it could simply be a friend or family member who, maybe has done it before, or your partner. But get some help with it and work with somebody on it because it can be challenging. And be honest. It's the first thing I want to tell people to do. Be honest about it. If you're not honest, you're only hurting yourself.
Yeah.
So I use a very simple spreadsheet. When people are very first getting a budget put together, I don't recommend them using an app. I don't recommend them having fancy tools or paying for something. I recommend a simple spreadsheet. I use a Google Sheet with my clients so that I can share it with them, and myself and the clients can change it around and update it as they go along. But my budget includes your expenses and your income, which is what most people think of as a budget, but it also has a separate tab for your savings. So we're going to keep track of what's in your savings, what your savings goal is, what date, and we're going to update it every time. And then also your debt. So it includes the name of whatever the debt is, whether it be a credit card or car payment, whatever, and the interest rate and your minimum payments. So all three of those things. And I also have a variable income, so if you have a variable income, which a lot of folks do, that's sort of, you got to work on that a little bit differently than just, your regular, what your income is. But so I have all of those things all in one. So it's all in the same spreadsheet. There's just different tabs, and that way you can go in and look at it and update it and change it anytime you want. So if you're just getting started, again, I recommend getting some help or just working with your partner, working with somebody to just sort of help support you. But make it simple. Don't make it complicated, because if it's too complicated, it's just going to be overwhelming and you're not going to stick with it. So simple is great. It's easy to update. It's also like Google Sheets, in my opinion, it's also easy to open up on my phone. It's not super easy to like update and change, but you can do it. But it's easy to just to look at it on your phone. So that's what I recommend for my clients and how to get them started. And again, just reiterating, I don't recommend people making financial goals until they really put together that budget.
Yeah. Yeah. With that, Rachel, I want to say this, it's with anything. If you go into something with a negative mindset,
Right.
it's always negative.
Mhm.
That's the way the world works, the universe works, whatever you want to call it. That's how it is, right? And so I know for a lot of us, us included, paying off big sums of money, especially when you don't have a lot of
Mhm.
extra,
Mhm.
can feel restricting.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing for us to know is that what is it going to feel like when I do accomplish it? And you
Mhm.
can relate that to anything. Say you said, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds. Well,
Mhm.
you didn't lose 10 pounds in one day.
Right.
And the first few days were a little bit hard, right?
Mhm.
And you probably wanted to quit and give up a few times, but you had a why. So I think that's really important, is establishing why. Why do I want to get out
Yeah,
of debt? Why do I want
absolutely.
to have a budget? Why do I want to do that? And go on Google, just search, what are the positive impacts that
Yeah.
would be made if I did this? And just flood that into your head every day. Having a budget is good because it makes me feel less stressed. Having a budget is good because now I know where my money is going and I
Yeah.
don't have fear. Because when we don't know where we're going, we have fear.
Mhm. It really, a budget gives you
Yeah,
control, right? Like when
it
you are
gives
out
you
of
so much.
control, yeah, that's when you feel stressed, but a budget puts you in that control.
Yeah. And so people are saying it's like it's going to be a taking away. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. You will gain so
Yeah.
much
Mhm.
clarity and insight. And it gets exciting because now you get to have goals with your money. That's the
Yeah.
one thing with money people don't realize. Money is a tool. It is a resource that we're given. And the amount of knowledge that you have and mindset that you have behind that will tell you how that tool and resource is going to work for you. It's equal for all of us. You just have to invest in yourself. Get
Mhm.
a good coach if you're feeling overwhelmed. I'll say this and I'll end what I have to say on this. We just hired an interior designer to help us with our house. We have a home that was built 20 years ago. It hasn't been renovated since. I've thought of parts and pieces. I've started doing parts and pieces, but you want to know what? I felt overwhelmed with
Yeah.
the entire process for the last 3 years. And I finally said, I'm gonna spend a little bit of money. It's not a lot. People think you have to pay so much money for advice. Sometimes it's free. Sometimes, Rachel, I know you charge like next to nothing for this. Just save yourself the time, the energy, the
Yeah.
frustration, and get a professional because they're going to help you feel better about it. And then you can say, let's actually do it
Yeah.
instead of talking about doing it, right?
Yeah. And what's like, what is your long-term goal and like how are you going to get there? So like that's the thing with hiring a professional too. Like
In a plan.
if your house, we'll use your example, if your house is something that like you're just not like, yeah, you loved it because you bought it, right? But you're like every day you're like, oh, it's kind of like
Yep.
bringing me down,
Yep.
and you could probably do it yourself, but how long is it going to take you to do it? And
Yep.
and on that whole time, are you going to be feeling kind of blah and like, slowly getting excited about different things? But if you hire somebody, that's going to be a lot faster.
Wow. You get that.
And
Wow.
yes, right. And you're going to feel less stressed. It's just like, people pay for Weight Watchers, people pay for a gym membership, people pay for coaches, for like health coaches, it's the same thing. And I just want to like sort of go back a little bit to what you said, like, you want to lose 10 pounds. And my point with that is, but you can't say you want to lose 10 pounds until you know what you weigh. Right. So it's
Yep.
just like putting together a budget. You can't say, I want to do this with my money if you've never actually put anything down on paper. If you don't know where you're starting, you really can't make those goals. But that's what you've said. And you and I both kind of said this is like, it puts you in control of your money and it allows you to decide what you're going to do with your money. It allows you to create those goals. There's many great things about a budget, but just sort of the overarching theme is it puts you in control and also gives you that picture. Because like I said, a lot of people automatically try to cut off something that they love, right? I love getting takeout every Friday, but gosh, I'm just really struggling with my money. So I'm never going to do it again. It's just like, I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm literally never going to eat ice cream again, even though that's my favorite thing in the world. Like that is not what works for people. And it works for a short period of time.
Right,
But
but
the
it's not
problem,
sustainable.
correct. And the problem with that is because it works for a short period of time, you feel good, but then inevitably it changes because it doesn't work. And then you feel even worse because now you feel like you failed.
Yeah.
So part of what I want to do with my clients, and I know you as well, Amy, is helping people understand what their priorities are and what their goals are to reach those, and not just cut back on silly things. And perhaps those are things you need to cut back on. Like, I don't know, but without sitting down and really looking at your full financial picture, you don't really know what you should be cutting back on, or even if you should be cutting back at all. Like perhaps you're just putting your money like towards something that isn't as impactful. Perhaps you have debt and you're putting it into savings, or whatever it is. But there could also be very small changes that you're making.
Yeah.
And I talk a lot about intentional spending. A lot of people on autopilot, and they go to Starbucks every morning and they go to take out for lunch. And, their kids want something and they're just like, yep, okay, whatever. But they don't think about what they're spending and is that impacting my life?
Mhm.
And so that's what I want to help. And I know you do too, Amy, like want to help our clients decide like what is impactful for your life, what is going to make you feel happy. And without knowing what you're spending your money on, you don't really know that. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to do this or that. So I love, and I'll admit, like the session I have with my clients where we're actually putting together the budget is a little stressful.
It is.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's a little stressful.
okay.
And I work a lot with couples, and it's stressful.
Yep,
Sometimes I can
sure.
feel it between the two of them. But it's that moment that it's stressful, and then you can start moving forward, right? You're just going to constantly be in this like, I'm stressed. I don't even know what to do about it, but I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing because the work is hard.
Yeah.
It's also hard to live in that stress all the time. So
choose your hard. I say it all the time.
Yes.
You got to choose your hard. It's hard being broke, in debt, paycheck to paycheck. And it's hard doing the right things with money because it's not what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
So choose your hard.
But which has the bigger payoff, right?
Oh, definitely the latter.
Yep. It's hard to feel stress and anxiety around money all the time. And if you never do anything about it, that's never going to end.
Yeah.
But it's also hard to put the work in. But if you put the work in, that stress will end, right? It'll and also that work will get easier. Like the more you do it, the easier it'll be. And frankly, for me, it became like fun to do. And I've had other clients say the same thing. Like I recently talked with a client who said she had been like, more paying attention to what she was spending money on. And now when she goes to the store and she sees something and she's like, I really want to buy that. And she picks it up and she touches it. And then she's like, I don't need this. There's no reason for it. She puts it back and she immediately puts that money into a savings account. So that thing was $9.50. Now she said to her husband while we were meeting, like, that is now fun for me. Like, I now feel like it's like a game. Like I'm putting this money into a savings account instead of spending it on something I really just don't need. And that's probably not going to bring me joy. So that's what a budget can do for you, is just help you, just dig in and see like what's important to you and what's not, and just make some changes that are going to make you happier. Yeah.
I love it. It's exciting.
There's so much we could talk about with budgets, but we just scratched the surface here, and I hope folks have found some use in it. And Amy, do you want to tell us all like a little bit more about where we can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, my first name dot last name, so Amy.Ruggieri, and you can find me on Facebook. Same first and last name on my personal page. I love sharing about money. I share about money everywhere, but I do also have a free resource community in Facebook, or on Facebook. That's called Smart Money Moves the Ruggieri Group. And that's where we normalize the money conversation. We actually have an event coming up. It'll be live inside that group. If you can't catch us live Wednesday at 11 a.m., catch the replay, reach out to one of us and say, hey, I want to get in that group. I want to be a part of that. I want to learn how to have fun with money. So you can catch us there. And you can also visit our website, theruggerigroup.com.
Great. Thanks, Amy. Yeah,
Thanks, Rachel.
I've caught a few of your events and they've all been really great. I can't make this one in person, but I've already registered, so I look forward to the
Love it.
replay. And I'm Rachel Dorsey. I'm a financial wellness coach. My business is Effortless Budgeting, and you can pretty much find me on social media under Effortless Budgeting. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You can just search for the company name, and then I'm also effortlessbudgeting.com. Not as active, but I do have LinkedIn, which is just my name, Rachel Dorsey, and I do post some good articles on there. So all right, well, I hope everyone learned something, and hope we're all feeling more empowered to get some help and to start putting together that budget. So
yeah. Awesome. See you guys.
All right. Take
Thanks,
care.
Rachel.
Bye.